Okay, welcome to another vintage video here, and today on the back of Sprouts managing to top 4 the vintage showcase recently with the Hermit Druid deck, I've decided to brush off Hermit Druid, which has been sidelined for quite a bit now for me, based on Lurrus control being very popular and then having main deck removal, Orcish Bowmasters to kill Hermit, and then just basically being fully pre-boarded for the matchup and having a strong sideboard here. But Lurrus control isn't doing as well right now as it has been for a long time. Lurrus PO and Raker shops have been stealing the scene in the challenges. Works numbers are down a bit, and the Hermit looks pretty good into Raker and Lurrus PO here, as well as some of the other stuff that you'll just usually see in the meta. So we're going to give it another whirl here. Hermit Druid is probably my favorite card in Vintage, and definitely the archetype that I've played the most. It was the first challenge I ever played back in 2022. I got 4-3 in my first challenge ever playing Jund Hermit Druid in Vintage, and I played many other versions since then, Bug, Bant, other versions of Jund with cards like Breakout, which have been fun. I have a couple other Hermit Druid videos on my channel here, I think 2 other ones. I haven't played it again a lot recently because of the Lurrus control, but we're going to dust it off here and see how this goes. So we're doing a few things here, and I will go through them. I'll start with Hermit Druid. If you don't know the combo here, it has 1 and a tap, green and tap. You reveal cards top of your library, hit a basic land card. We have no basic lands, so what this does is it mills your entire deck. As you're milling, all the Narcomoebas that it hits when they get milled will come into play. You can then cast one or two of the Cabal Therapies from that were milled into your graveyard from your library, using its flashback cost here to try and, maybe your opponent didn't have a Force of Will for the Hermit Druid, but they've got a Force of Negation in their hand you need to clear out before you win, so you use that to clear the road. And then once that's done, you use the Dread Return again, milled into your graveyard, flashback the Narcomoebas that are in play, to bring back Thassa's Oracle. And Thassa's Oracle, if you have no cards in your library, when it comes in, wins the game. So pretty cool. Another fun thing to note is, let's say your opponent's got Graveyard Hate in play. What you can do is activate Hermit Druid if you can find Thassa's Oracle in your hand, either just by drawing it or tutoring for it. You can just play it from your hand to win the game, which is pretty cool. Now, we have some other stuff going on in here as well in the main deck. We'll get to the transformational sideboard in a second. But we also have Aphetto Alchemist. Aphetto Alchemist can tap to untap target artifact or creature. Now this does a lot of things in this deck, but it has overlap with the Hermit Druid combo here, because you can keep tapping and untapping itself, and then with Mesmeric Orb, whenever you tap and untap itself, you mill a card. So Aphetto Alchemist plus Mesmeric Orb, you can keep untapping the Alchemist and mill your whole library, so just doing what Hermit Druid does, but at one click at a time. And you still do the same thing. You get all the Narcomoebas, you get therapies, the Dread Returns, and then you can win that way. So, pretty fun one. And then Aphetto Alchemist, we'll just go through it here. It does a lot of other things in the deck. It wins with Time Vault, just kind of like Manifold Key Time Vault. Aphetto Alchemist untaps Time Vault, you tap it, that's infinite turns. Aphetto Alchemist plus Legolas's Quick Reflexes will kill all of your opponent's creatures. So you just keep tapping and untapping Aphetto Alchemist to untap itself, and each time it gets tapped, you deal 1 damage to a creature. So at 1 damage at a time, you can kill all your opponent's creatures, which is pretty cool. It can untap Moxen to make mana. It can untap creatures just to give them, vigilance. And it has a fun interaction with top, where you can tap top, hold priority, untap it with Aphetto Alchemist, and then draw again. So you get 2 draws with Aphetto Alchemist and top, and then, similar to the Moxen with like Deathrite Shaman or the Halflings in the sideboard. You can make mana. We'll get to Nadu in a second. It's got an interaction there. We're going to cover the main deck first. We've also got some Psychic Frogs in here. It's just a way to round out the deck and provide an engine as well. Psychic Frog is not a one-card combo in the same way that Hermit Druid is, but it can just solo the game. So I don't think this one needs any introduction if you've played any Legacy or Vintage in the last, year since it's been printed. Force of Will, Force of Negation to protect us from dying and to help force through our combo. We covered Psychic Frog, Time Walk, Demonic Tutor, really strong blue-black cards obviously, going to be in the deck. Once Upon a Time is the one that kind of smooth out the mana, so this is sort of like a 15th pseudo-land, but also if you already have lands in your hand, you can find, Hermit Druid, Aphetto Alchemist, which is quite nice. Lightning Greaves, we'll cover more with the sideboard, and I do have this one in the main deck. It can let you do some stuff on the first turn, which is nice, but it's more for Nadu, so we'll get to that in a minute afterwards. We covered Time Golden Orb as cards to combo with Alchemist. Top as something to grab off Saga, but also just a good card in combos with Alchemist. Deathrite Shaman, we're a 3-color deck in a format with Wastelands and Strip Mines, and this is a nice one to tie things together, and also it helps us ramp into our cards in our sideboard here, the 3-drops. Reflexes, and this was actually in Sprouts' version they top 4 to showcase in the sideboard. I've played this in a couple of videos on my channel. If you go back a few, I've got a trophy league on this channel with Bug, Nadu, Alchemist, and having the same combo here. But in this deck, it also protects Hermit Druid, which is nice. So if you pass the turn, you can keep 1 green up. Your opponent tries to kill Hermit, you just protect it. Vampiric Tutor and Demonic Tutor just kind of assemble and pull together our combos. Therapy as a way to, as good protection, it can cast from the graveyard. And then some broken restricted cards here. Fast mana. And then again, no basics because we want Hermit Druid. So we're just playing all of the on-color dual lands here. And then just one Urza Saga as well, because that's another solid threat, and you can grab the Shuko as well. So we'll go to the sideboard now. We've got a transformational sideboard. So a Hermit Druid, the biggest issue with it, it's a very strong card. You can just play it on turn 1, win on turn 2 off of a Mox, but it dies to everything, all removal. It gets hit by Graveyard Hate. You can counter it. It can get Pithing Needled. It's pretty much every hate you can think of in Vintage affects Hermit Druid. So one of the better strats with Hermit Druid, in my opinion. So you can just kind of try and fight through the hate, and that does obviously work, or it can work, as Sprouts has proven, but you can also create a transformational sideboard here. So the plan is we're going to board in. So game 1, we're going to reveal Lurrus, okay? That our deck works with Lurrus game 1. Game 2, we can board in these 11 cards here, and we can take out 4 Hermit Druid, 1 Mesmeric Orb, 4 Narcomoebas, Thassa's Oracle. That's 10 cards. Oh, and the Dread Return, and that lets us bring in 11 cards here, including bringing in the Lurrus as a transformational sideboard. So our opponent, they board in Graveyard Hate and stuff here. We can play around that. It's pretty fun. If you're not familiar with this one, Aphetto Alchemist and Nadu is a combo. So what you do is, Nadu is whenever one of your creatures become the target of a spell or ability, you reveal the top card lottery, put in your hand. So with Nadu and Aphetto in play, you tap Nadu to untap itself twice. That's 2 cards into your hand. Then you go to your opponent's turn, and your upkeep, you do it again, untap itself twice. That's 2 more cards into your hand. And then you can use Aphetto Alchemist to target Nadu, another creature, to get another card in your hand. So that's 5 cards a turn cycle between Aphetto Alchemist and Nadu, which is pretty strong. We're boarding in the Shuko for the traditional Nadu combo to draw, with the free activation to keep equipping it on creatures and target them to get draws. We can also find it with Urza Saga. And this is where the Lightning Greaves really comes in and shines. It's okay in the main deck. It's not great. But when you bring in Nadu, it's another way of comboing with Nadu and getting all those activations for free, which is pretty cool. Oko as just probably the best blue-green 3-drop out there. We can ramp into it with our Deathrite Shamans, our mana, our Delighted Halflings. It solves problems, it wins games. It's a great card. Feed the Swarm as a tutorable kind of catch-all. This one can hit Oath of Druids. It can also hit Seasoned Dungeoneer. So this one could be an Abrupt Decay. It could be an Assassin's Trophy. Those are both reasonable options in this deck. But I went for Feed the Swarm. But like that, I think there's definitely a case that this should be an Assassin's Trophy, because we are, pretty heavily in the green here. But this is a bit easier to cast, so that's kind of the upside. And then lastly, for the bizarre matchups, we've got Leylines of the Void here. We're not part of the transformational sideboard, but against Bizarre, we do want the Grave Hate. Alright, so thanks for listening to that. If you're still here, throw a like and subscribe. That's very much appreciated. Any questions about the deck list or, anything else, just throw a comment down below. Happy to hear from everyone. And I'll see you in round 1. Alright, here we go. We have a Lurrus. They've got a Lurrus. I think we'll keep this. Alright, so this is the PO version. They don't have any fast mana. Let's just take a look at their hand. Force of Will. Double stock up. Okay. Interesting. So that Orcish Bowmasters can hit our So I think we're going to try and flush out the Orc here. Alright, without doing anything, we're just going to hit stock up, I guess. So, stock up. We have Volcanic Island, Vampiric, Orc. That's irritating. They probably have a Fatal Push, so if we just go like, I think we just have to I think that's a Cabal Therapy joke, hopefully, but yeah, I assume it's a joke. I'm just gonna let it go in case for some reason it's not. Alright, let's see what they do here. We want them just to play the Orc. Yep, that's fine. Because the Orc can kill our Hermit Druids. We have to play around that, unfortunately. So. Yeah, that's fine. And that's fine. Yeah, I don't think they have anything noteworthy in the graveyard, so that's also fine. Yeah, they trump. Do. Um, just gonna try and fade problems here. I think I can't imagine they've got stuff that we can't deal with force, so I'm just gonna let this go. We know they've got Lurrus in hand. Lurrus and what? And we'll force that. And then, yeah, we can win after that. Alright, we're going to try our sideboard plan here. Here. And we'll take out Dread Return. We'll take out Narcomoebas. Take out Thassa's Oracle. We don't need the Mesmeric Orb. Take out the Hermit Druids. So we don't want Layla in the Void, Dread Return, Narcomoeba, Thassa's Oracle, Mesmeric Orb, Hermit Druid. We do want all of this. The negations aren't amazing, but they're playing stock up, so they probably are on maybe more of a combo-y build. But they got Orcs, so I'm a little confused, but I think that's still okay. Alchemist, Time Walk Tutor, once Greaves Vault. Yep. Probe, Recall Therapy, Vampiric. Alright. I thought I had this mapped out so that I still had one bad card to keep in, but I guess that's not true. Force of Will, Hermit Druid, Narcomoeba, Oracle, Mesmeric Orb, yep. Dread Return, Shuko, Nadu, Oka, Bring in Lurrus, Delighted Swarm, Forces, Aphetto Time Walk, Use Time Vault. I think that's okay. Maybe I'm missing something, but we'll give this a whirl. So the goal is that they're going to mill, hopefully, to Graveyard Hate. That's the hope, and then we don't really have graveyard stuff anymore. It's a little risky, but we got a Force of Will, so I'll keep it. And I mean a recall, so we'll keep it. The Force is just nice on top of that, though. Yep. 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 You got a Pearl? That's fine. Yep. I think I am going to fire this off. That just resolved. Interesting. So part of me wants to play out the Aphetto, but the issue is we don't actually have a third mana right now, so I think we need to try and get our mana down. Alright. Momentum Breaker. I think that's okay. Key. Alright. We're gonna look for a mana source here. Oh geez. Well, interesting. We can white, black, colorless, colorless. A Lurrus? White, black. We're going to try and fight over the Lurrus. I think we still need to fight over this. The Momentum Breaker loops pretty strong against us. I think it's the Aphetto. Maybe it's the Nadu. Yeah, let's go with the Aphetto. Vexing Bulbul. Sure. We're going to just cast this. Let's see what they got for us. If we can survive a turn, I think we're in decent shape, but they could just rip a PO here for sure. Or a stock up. Merchant Scroll. Okay. They're a little stuck on blue mana. Let's see what they get. I think that's correct. Yeah, they got Recall, but do they have an island? We get a land. Sort of a land. Two. Oh, we can't cast that. There is a Vexing Bauble in play. I think we want to get this down. Green, blue, blue. And yeah, we can't play our bauble, unfortunately. We cannot counter that. They've got their cards there. So they just have Time Vault, they win. Pithing Needle. Yep. I guess they didn't find Time Vault because they would have just killed us there. Nihil Spellbomb, fine. It does shut off our... Oh, we had Time Vault too. The Pithing Needle on the Alchemist is... Oh boy. So we don't win now. Yeah, that's very tough there. Interesting. This is pretty bad now, actually. So we actually, I'm not sure if we want any of these cards, to be honest. I kind of wanted to be able to hold up the Force of Negation. This is tough. Yeah, that needle on the Alchemist is brutal. The only way we can get rid of it is Oko. So I guess we do just draw. But like Oko is just so hard to cast right now. I think we have to leave Force of Negation up. It's a tough spot, though. Yeah, we haven't got a lot of land drops, which is a bit annoying. I think we just gotta Gotta pass. Think we'll play... Maybe we play the Emerald just pretending we forgot. We still have to discard. I guess the other Nadu. Oh no, we need the blue card. Oh, that was so dumb. Oh boy. Oh, that was so dumb. Wow. Alright, sorry. Oh boy. Oh no, we don't. We don't need the blue card. We're hard casting Force of Negation. I mean, I'm just dumb. Let's try and cast Once Upon a Time. Jeez. Done. There we go. Card we can cast. Bayou. Swing. Got it work. That's fine. That's also fine. All right. We'll just play out our Deathrite Shaman here. Okay. Dismember on Nadu. If we counter this, okay. Our opponents had enough. We could have used the Legolas's quick reflexes to protect Nadu and get a card and counter this, which is we don't need the Force of Negation. We can just use the Legolas's quick reflexes to protect, but our opponent scooped there, so we didn't have to make the choice. The downside here is if they somehow did draw the I think they would have used this last turn, but if they were sandbagging it and they drew Time Vault, we could have if we did anything, they could have cast the Time Vault there, but we didn't, and on to the next round. Alright, here we are for round 2. We have a cat. Opponent Does not have a cat. Oh boy. I want to keep this. I want to keep this very badly, but we don't have any blue mana, so I don't think we can actually keep this. Oh boy. We are against Countervine on 7. Oh boy. I think we're just dead at Countervine on 7, but I guess we keep this and look for a Hermit. I don't know. I'm not sure if going lower helps us, but I think we're already dead anyway. Maybe a Deathrite Shaman? I'll take the Hermit Druid. We have problems. Squee Walla Walla, sure. Do they have a Force of Will, though? I'd really like it if we could draw a Force of Will. I think we just go for the Hermit here. They're just going to keep drawing stuff with the Squee. And I assume they Force of Will this, but if not, then maybe we got a chance. Okay. Oof. They're not playing any threats or dumping relevant stuff into the graveyard. That probably means that they have counter magic. I think we have to try and more counter magic. I mean, we actually did find the Hermit. I think we jam it. So the other thing is they can beat our they can use Noxious Revival to mess up our pile. We got a Walla. Okay. So cards I'm worried about include Noxious Revival and Force of Wills they found. And Fury, that's bad too. Oh boy. Let's see what they hit with Wasteland. They hit the Saga. Alright. Let's go for the Vamp. So next turn, so we go to 10 from this. Next turn they can swing for 7. I will go to 3. If they got 1 Force of Will in the graveyard, 1 Force of Will in exile, but no Fawns. So I feel like you can get Time Vault and try and win next turn with Alchemist. But that plays into Force of Negation and Force of Vigor. If we just get another Hermit Druid, I think every plan I've got now loses the Wasteland, so that is what it is. I think Hermit Druid, everything loses the Force of Will. I think everything loses the Wasteland. Hermit's a bit more... Hermit can lose to Noxious Revival, which is legitimately a card they could have, to be fair. Lotus doesn't do it. We can't... If we had 3 lands, Lotus would have been more reasonable. We could get a Legacy's Quick Reflexes and hope they just don't kill our Aphetto Alchemist. That's a thing, I suppose. But that doesn't... They still just have to find 2 creatures and then win, and they can also just... I mean, getting... There certainly is some upside in getting Legacy Quick Reflexes here. But they're still going to have a Vengevine in the yard after all that they can just bring back. This is tough. I think it's Hermit Druid, Time Vault, or Legacy's Quick Reflexes. I feel like if they don't know what Aphetto Alchemist does, Legacy's Quick Reflexes is the most likely to buy us time, but because if they have a Noxious Revival in their hand, Hermit Druid doesn't win. We can play around other stuff. We get two therapies. We get therapy. The first therapy wouldn't hit Mindbreak Shot. First therapy would be Force of Will or Force of Negation. I think I'm gonna go for Hermit, but I could see Legacy's Quick Reflexes to try and to cheese. We lose to a lot of stuff with this, for sure. I see 3 more cards here, so we're almost certainly just dead. Oh, they got a Fury back. That does it. That was going to kill. I think that beat all of our plans. Yeah. Bazaar on 7, hard to win that. Oh, there's our Force of Will. That would have been useful. Nope, they got us. Alright, so I think I want to go to the sideboard plan. I assume they've got... I think we'll try the sideboard plan. Not 100% sold this is the right thing to do, because we don't have Wasteland, so we can't really shut down their engine. We're not super well set up for this matchup. To be honest. Alright, let's give this a shot there, because they might be siding in like heavy graveyard hate. And if we see that, then we can if we don't see heavy graveyard hate, we can board back into this game 3 if we get to a game 3. I guess we got the Shamans. We got the Leylines. We do have some graveyard hate. We're not super set up for this. Super well set up for this. Need 2 more cuts. Can trim a Force of Will. And then I guess the Therapy. Maybe I trim the Therapies over the Force of Will. Did I just forget to... I guess I was lagging there and I had less time than I thought I did, so... Crap. That's bad. Yep, didn't save. Alright. That's my fault, obviously. Wow. That's a mulligan, that's nonsense. And I'll keep that. What do I put back? Kind of want the... Maybe the probe's just not good enough. All right. Start with the Deathrite Shaman, and then we'll play our top. They got 6 though. 6 is still a very scary start for them. So they drew a Leyline of the Void. They did bring in the heavy graveyard hate. Interesting. They're showing us the Master of Death here. Because they've got a Fury. Furies are good. Furies are good. I think we gotta be a little risky here. I'm gonna cast this. This plays in the Force of Negation, but I'm not sure if they would have kept in the Fawns. They kept in the Fawns. Alright. Crap. Not sure why they kept in the Fawns, but we are gonna lose to that. We might not lose to that. There. Alright. What do they got for us? I'm just going to F6 here. We can't really do anything. Oh. Okay. We're actually okay with that. We can still do our stuff. Alright, we got to go all in here, but drop. There. We can't do anything, so I'm just going to F6. Oh yeah, Wasteland, okay. So we have to find a green source, which could be tough. Yeah. We have green sources, but can we find one? That's a green source. It could beat us here with Noxious Revival, but I'm not going to play around that. If they have Noxious Revival, then well played. Ravenous Trap. Okay. That also beats us. Fair enough. This is why I wanted to side into the other game plan, but we screwed up our sideboarding. So, oh well, good game. Alright, we've got our cat. Let's see what they got. Crap. Another Bizarre. Dredge. Fuck's sake. Okay. And we're dead. Unless we rip another Hermit, I guess. If they take the Shaman, I guess they have a Force, but... I'm going to try and time walk here and eat their Thug. I guess we might as well play out the Sapphire. Not sure why we wouldn't. So we can do this. We can eat the Thug. We got a Noxious Revival, okay. Then we can... oh. So, next turn, we can then try and play our... Lurrus, get our Hermit back. Ah, shit. Well, that's bad. So we're dead next turn. So getting the Hermit Druid into play isn't going to be enough, unfortunately, now. Because we're almost certainly just dead. How many Dredgers do they have? They've got Thug, Imps, Troll. I don't think... like, hitting the Icarid's almost the one to hit, right? But I feel like if we don't just play... we're definitely playing the Lurrus. And then we can kill one of these with the reflexes. So we can eat the Bazaar to make green, untap this with the green, And then we still have 3 mana to bring back Hermit and Shaman, so I guess we do that. Green. Now we just, I don't know. I think we're just dead, but we wait, I guess. And the F6, and it is what it is. I think we're dead. I assume we're dead. Not sure how we wouldn't be dead. Okay. At present, we're not currently dead. I don't think. Combat math is hard. We're just going to block and see what happens. So, Lurrus blocks here. I'll have Shaman block here. And we just try and go for it next turn. Yes. 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 And we cast Dread Return, targeting the Thassa's Oracle. 1, 2, 3. And that should do it. Alright. That was pretty cool. Lurrus really showing why it's good there and why it's in the can be good with the Hermit Druid there. They took it turn 1. I thought we were dead for sure, and then we still got that one. Alright, so they're probably boarding in Graveyard Hate, so I'm going to try and play quicker here and then actually do this game plan. So the Force of Negations we don't want. We're going to take out the Oracle and the Narcomoebas. The Dread Return. Quicker, quicker. The Hermit Druids. The Mesmeric Orb. Cabal Therapy. And you go down to 1 Oko. I don't really need Oko. Yeah, let's give that a whirl. We're going to try and lean on our ley lines and our shamans here. Gonna sit for a minute like we're thinking, and then we will keep because we have the ley line there. Not an amazing hand, but not mulling ley line Deathrite Shaman with 2 draws coming from the probe and natural draw. See what they exiled. No Force of Vigor is exiled. That's bad for us. Okay. We can F6 through that. What did they pitch? Sickening Shoal. Okay. Our Deathrite Shaman is gone. We both have ley lines in play, so the graveyard's not particularly helpful. It's more this one. I think I'm just going to actually wait to see what they draw here. Don't really want to... Maybe we should have a Scryland in this deck. I've been too low on the Scrylands in my list, I think. I think I need some of these Hedge Maze under City Sewers type cards. I want a little more information, so I'm just going to wait till this turn to draw. What do they have? They got Noxious Revival, which is pretty bad right now, and a Thug, which isn't great, so that's fine. We're just going to play a top. They need to find Force of Vigor and or Hollow Ones. Icarid, Creeping Chill, Icarid. So they still have the same cards in their hand. They're keeping the green for Force of Vigor, and then the Icarid's a Dredger. Don't really need the lands. The Deathrite Shaman's not bad. I think it's safer just to play the Shaman, actually. If they find a Force of Vigor, we want to be able to exile their graveyard right away. I got rid of the Thug. I guess the Jet. I'm not going to play the Jet. They find Force of Vigor. That's just another thing there. Alright. I guess Force of Will. So we're going to hold that. At this point, I don't think the mana matters too much. I just want to have the Force of Will open. Counter the hollow one. Saga. We can untap our Shaman if we need to. Just getting the damage in. Alright, and we got there, so good match. Okay, next round here. So we're against Soggy Meatball, and found out afterwards, this one's a recording, they were playing the Vintage Challenge at the same time, and they managed to get 9th, just missing out on top 8 on Breakers here, so strong opponent. Our hand here does not, we've got a Lotus and a Pearl, but we can't really, we have to crack the Lotus for black here. We don't have enough to actually, we don't have 6 mana to buy Lurrus and play and get back to Lotus, so we'd have to crack the Lotus for black for Demonic Tutor, and that's just doesn't do enough here. If this was like a land, this is, you know, gets a lot more interesting, but we just don't have the colors here, so we're going to mulligan. And this one is not amazing, but this can become green. We have a turn 1 Shaman. If our opponent has a fetch land or something, we can turn 2 the Hermit Druid. We'll eventually get there. We have some protection, so I do end up keeping this one, but it's not an amazing hand. So we're just going to start by playing out everything we can, really. They've got Cleric, and we're going to try and keep them off 3 mana here, but that fails miserably because they still have a Lotus they were sandbagging, so well played by our opponent there. And playing the Cavern actually kind of baited us into doing that. So yeah, well played by them. But they don't have a lot of stuff going on. They're going down the bad path of the Undercity there, and they've got an Archon, which we can win through. So them going a bit slower here gives us some time, and that's good. Now we want to have 2 things. We want green to protect our Hermit with the Legolas's quick reflexes, which we can get from the Deathrite Shaman, and we also want green to play the Hermit because we're trying to win next turn here. So this does 2 things. If our opponent tries to kill the Hermit on their turn, like they do here, we can stop it with the Legolas's quick reflexes. The same thing to be... if they would have tried to do it on our own turn, then it wouldn't have worked. But one of the nice things about having a brew is that people don't know exactly what to play around here. They weren't, you know, they weren't playing around Legolas's quick reflexes. So we get to mill ourselves here, get our Narcos, and then with our 1 spell for turn, go for the Dread return. And we got it. So nice win there. Good showing for Legolas's quick reflexes to protect our combo. We'll go on to game 2. So we're doing the sideboard pivot here. We brought out the Hermit Druids. We brought out the Narcomoebas, Thassa's Oracle, Dread Return, Mesmeric Orb. Left in 1 Narco as another blue card here. Oh, this one. So our opponent starts on Leyline of the Void. One of the big advantages here of boarding into our secondary transformational sideboard plan here is that our opponent did keep the 7, but their 7 included Leyline and no turn 1 play, so they're keeping on the back of the Leyline. But we don't care about the Leyline, so we can just do stuff. But it's worth noting that our hand's not amazingly explosive or anything. We've got some removal, we got a Nadu and a Shaman, but this is not a super broken vintage hand. So they could certainly draw out of this, and they do have a strong turn 2 play here with the Plum. And a Wasteland, so that's pretty good, because that means, and we drew another land, we don't want that, so that was bad to see. We can get rid of the Plum. But they're ticking down here. They're going to get to the throne room. And they're keeping us off mana pretty well with Wasteland and now the Witch Enchanter. So, stealing the initiative at this point is hard. Now it's just impossible. They're going to here. We have no way of stopping them. And they had a good plan here. Even with the Leyline, we just weren't quite strong enough. So, try and rectify this on game 3 here. I'm going to go through this intro a little slower here. Some interesting choices on the mulligans here. So this is an interesting hand. So the problem is we have the protection. We can do a turn 1 Shaman, and if we do draw a blue mana source, we can turn 2 Nadu, but it just doesn't do much. It's just very easy for our opponent to draw out of this. I was thinking what to do here, and decided that this just isn't strong enough. We need something. We need something more broken. And we get this hand, which is not a ton better. It does have blue mana and the Shaman, so I think this is worth it. But it's it is iffy. Let's see if Magic Online cooperates here. Oh, there we go. Now our opponent has 2 Leylines of the Void, and that's, they still think we're on the graveyard plan here. That's a big advantage for us. And we still have, so notably our Deathrite Shaman's pretty bad here. So we're going to try and keep them off mana. And we have to force that as well. So we have a Deathrite Shaman that can't make any mana. And an Underground Sea to their 2 cards in hand there. So we just have to swing. And they can strip us, but it doesn't really do anything, because that does make our Deathrite Shaman able to make mana now, at least for 1 turn. But they don't have they're a little stuck on mana as well. That's a great draw. That lets us play our Halfling. Now we have, in theory, 3 mana available if we need it. Start beating down with our Shuko. And we found a Nadu. That's an incredible draw here. We just start going off doing Nadu things. Really like the Shuko Nadu stuff. Having the 1 mana dorks. This kind of builds very nice. Yeah, and our opponents just had enough there. We even have the Force of Will backup, so strong play, strong win here. I think, and a lot of that win, I would say, came down to our opponent thinking that they needed the graveyard hate. So that's a lot of what I'm crediting this here for, so I'm glad to see that in action. Alright, good round. Alright, here we go. Let's make sure we click it. It's green. We got a cat. We are on the draw and don't really do anything or have any protection, and they don't have a Lurrus. I don't think this is acceptable. We probably just... There are worlds where we go land, alchemist, wrath. They're bored on turn 3, but I don't love it. Oh boy. Oh boy. This is bad too. Yeah. Okay. Oh jeez. So, I mean, we put back this just doesn't do anything either. I think we got to keep going. Alright, we're not winning today, but I guess we keep this. Put back a land and one of the other things, and then we have to draw either an alchemist or a hermit, I guess. I think that's better than mulling to 4. I think. Oh boy. We're probably dead. But we'll give it a try. Oh shit. Turn 1 jewel. Okay. Just want to see if this is Raker shops or jewel right now, I think. Bauble. Oh, it's Raker shops. Okay. 1 top. Do they have a second top? They do. That'll kill us. They didn't see the combo stuff, so I think we can leave that in. Think I'm gonna bring in 1 feed the swarm, take out the Greaves. I think we can just run this back. One of the advantages of mulling into Oblivion and dying is your opponent doesn't really know what you're doing. I guess so. This isn't amazing, but we've got turn 1 recall. I assume they don't have forces, but there are some force versions of this, so out there. Patchwork, sure. We're just going to try and win with Time Vault here. What are we afraid of? I think black, blue. Is it? I think it's Disruptor Flute is one of the cards we could be worried about. Maybe Dismember. They don't have a top. They might have a ring, but don't really care if they play ring. Dismember maybe. Raker, Patchwork, Ring, Golem. Okay. And next turn we have 2 combos available. The first one doesn't really work against the Patchwork, but the other one does. Workshop. Three. Patchwork. Sure. I don't think we want to show them the Narcomoeba. Let's untap our Time Vault and take an extra turn, and we got there. Okay. Did we show them any graveyard crap? I don't think so. I think Force of Will, Dread Return, Alchemist, Amoeba, Demonic Tutor, Feed the Swarm, Hermit Druid. I think I just don't want to change anything. I think this is okay. I think we just try and jam a win, they try and jam a win, and we see who jams a win better. I could use a turn 1 Hermit Druid, that would be nice. This is a turn 1 Aphetto Alchemist hold up force. It's not great. Like, it's really not great. We'd have to draw something still. Like, we have reasonable permission, but we'd have to draw, like... Yeah. Mesmeric Orb, Time Vault. Hermit. This is risky. This is very risky. But if we mull this and we don't have counter magic, we certainly can just die. If you would mull this, I wouldn't hold it against you. It might be the right call. Maybe I'm playing scared here, but I'm gonna keep it. The biggest thing is any mana source gets us to the frog on turn 2, which is nice. It might actually be better than playing out the Alchemist, but we'll see. Scrawling Crawler on turn 1. I don't think we can allow that. Alright, we're just gonna go for the win then. Because the Mesmeric Orb on turn 2 is a win with the Aphetto Alchemist. Sure. Don't think we can allow that. Okay, so we didn't do something silly with exile. No, I don't think so. We still have 3 Narcomoebas. They could have a Mind Break trap, but this is only spell 2 then, so it should be fine. Where are our Narcomoebas? Well, go back to the game for a second here. Okay, so like you saw there, we were winning with, we keep milling. We finish our library here. Eventually we mill Dread Return, and then we Dread Return back the fastest Oracle to get the win there. So, pretty fun one. Yeah, good game. Okay, overall, 4-1 league here. Very happy with that. Can't complain. Definitely, I think, a strong showing for the deck here, really, against some strong opponents, and good cross-section of the meta. Our one loss here was to Countervine. Game 1, they just had a strong start, and it was able to outmuscle us, even though we tried to present a few different wins there. But they don't play too much main deck removal, but they found it, and they definitely could, and got a little, a little unlucky, but they definitely, can beat us for sure. And then Game 2 was just a bit of a mess up where I took too long to sideboard, didn't actually board into the pivot plan here, and then got blown out by graveyard hate that should have been irrelevant if I would have, paid attention to the timing and sideboarded in a timely fashion. So it was a bit annoying, but I think it did show that the pivot plan into the sideboard here can be really strong, because if we would have been on the sideboard plan here, they just had a very anemic clock, not much going on. They were really relying on the on blowing us out with graveyard hate, which they did, to be fair. So I think Game 1, the Countervine keeps a strong hand. There's not a ton you can do. I think we put up a good fight, but it is what it is. And then in Game 2, if I wasn't slow on the sideboarding, I think we would win that one and then be a battle Game 3. So, oh well. But the other matches I think went pretty well. I'm happy with those. As far as changes go, I think the Feed the Swarm could be an Assassin's Trophy or an Abrupt Decay. Probably an Assassin's Trophy. Otherwise, I'm pretty happy with the deck. We even got to, against Raker shops there at the end, win with the Mesmeric Orb combo. I think it's just as a one-of tutor target with the Alchemist, it's just completely fine. I played a number of decks like this again. I've got, a few videos back, maybe a week or two. I've got a trophy with Bug Nadu Alchemist, if you want to check out that video. With there's no Lurrus in that one. The Nadus are in the main deck, no Hermits. And that deck might be a little bit stronger. I think it's definitely stronger into Lurrus Control, because I think Game 1, this deck probably has a. We didn't play Lurrus Control in this league, but I think that was expected, because Lurrus Control is on a bit of a downswing. But if you do play against Lurrus Control, which is still definitely a strong deck if built correctly for the meta, this deck will suffer. So something to think about. I think I'm not sure if this is stronger than just the normal Nadu one, but I think it's more interesting in my opinion. I really like transformational sideboards. I'm a big fan of that kind of a strategy. And I think this has still all of the power of that deck. So yeah, happy with this. If you got any ideas for this or changes you'd make, let me know. Always happy to hear that. And if you're still here, enjoyed the video, throw a like and subscribe. And again, any questions or comments, throw them down below. Always happy to hear from anybody watching some videos I've got here. All right, thanks, and see you next time.